everyone, welcome back to Sincerely Self Podcast. My name is Lexi. Welcome if you're new. I mentioned this on the Instagram. I feel like I say this in every episode. If you don't follow the Instagram, please go and follow the Instagram. That's going to be your first step. Okay, that's going to be your first step. I posted on the Instagram the other day that I want to incorporate doing a solo episode in between the guest episodes. Because this year I really haven't done that many solo episodes, and that's how I started out, was doing only solo, and I miss it. I miss it. I love all the guests that we have, and it's insane that we have so many that I'm able to go months without doing a solo episode. It's actually insane. I post weekly, so that's kind of crazy, but I'm going to start doing solo episodes in between each one of the guests so that we can just have some me and you time. Just how it all started, right? Also, that being said, we're coming up on 2 years. 2 years? 2 years of Sincerely Self. Oh, you guys, I can't believe it's been that long. I mean, technically, I guess I took most of last year off, but I still can't believe we're almost to 2 years. And with that being said, I may or may not be shooting for some new cover art for the podcast in honor of a new year. So be looking forward to that. That may or may not be happening, okay? I cannot confirm or deny. I don't want to dilly-dally too much with this episode. I kind of really want to just jump right into it because we're talking about a topic that is really the whole meaning behind why I started Sincerely Self, and I touch lightly on this topic in each episode, but I feel like I haven't talked directly about it in a while, maybe about a year, who knows. We have like 70 episodes, just kind of wild. So I know I've talked about this at some point. I know I've done an episode on it. If I can find them, I cannot name them right now. If I can find them, they will be linked in the description of this episode if you would like to go and check those out. But I really want to get into the nitty-gritty of self-esteem and loving yourself, and kind of the steps of recognizing where you're at and where you want to get to with that, and just kind of how self-esteem is the basis for everything in your life and every aspect in your life. Because like I said, I know I've touched on this briefly in each episode, but the whole idea of Sincerely Self is it's a love letter to yourself. I started this podcast to help other individuals realize that they are worthy of taking up space, that they're worthy of having a good relationship with themselves and viewing themselves in a high regard. Okay, so first, I know I've touched on this. I'm having deja vu. I don't want to just be yapping about myself, but I want to let you know, like, I relate to not realizing that you even have low self-esteem. I think a lot of us don't realize that our self-esteem may be ego-based or completely based off of other individuals, and that's not true self-love. That's not true self-esteem. That's loving other people's versions of you and other people's opinions, but we'll dive into it. I wanted to kind of mention that because I started going to therapy 2 years ago. No, I started going to therapy 3 years ago, actually. I had to do the math there. I started going to therapy 3 years ago, and when I went to therapy for a lot of reasons, and none of them were like my self-esteem. I didn't even like consider that. And the first thing that my therapist said to me in the first session was, okay, the first thing we're going to focus on is your self-esteem and your self-perception. And I'm like, what? I'm pretty sure I have a okay self-esteem. And we dive into it, and she's asking me what positive traits I see about myself, and I really had to stop and think. And if you have to stop and think, then you don't have a healthy self-perception. And I also realized a lot of us have a very ego-based self-perception, and what I mean by that is, like I was saying, it's based off of how other people view you, maybe other people validating you. Let's say maybe you don't feel pretty in what you're wearing unless people like your post, or unless people comment on it, or unless the boy you like or the girl you like is complimenting you. that is not self-esteem. That is getting validation from others. Or if you are telling yourself, I know I'm pretty because I'm prettier than this girl, or oh, I'm prettier than her, or oh, I'm better than her, and you're dogging other girls, a lot of the time that does stem from an insecurity within. And I've been there, bro. I used to dog on girls in my mind that were really pretty when they'd walk in a place. Guys, I'm being very vulnerable with you. I would do that, and I realized I'm being a hater because I'm insecure, and I'm trying to make myself feel better by dogging on them, and that's just not gonna do it. That's just putting a band-aid on a bullet hole, you guys. If you see yourself attacking other people because you don't look like them, or even just comparing yourself to others, maybe it's the opposite sense. Maybe you're like, oh, I am not pretty because I don't look like this person, or I am not pretty because this person looks this way. Or one that's a really hard mindset to get out of is if you're in a toxic relationship or you just are kind of in an anxious attachment style, you maybe compare yourself to other people that your boyfriend or girlfriend or your significant other has been with, and that is a really dangerous rabbit hole, you guys. And being secure in yourself, which is really what I'm hoping to get you guys to from this episode and just from the podcast and as a whole, self-security prevents these type of things from happening frequently. And I want to say frequently because no matter how perfect you think your self-esteem is, we're human. And you may go back a little bit in your healing, and then you'll go back forward. And I just want you to recognize that, because you may think that you've healed your self-esteem, and then you find yourself complaining about how you look or complaining about things about you. And remind yourself that you're human, okay? Instead of, sometimes when I do that, I'm like, oh, I'm not healed at all. I guess I'm not as healed as I thought I was. And it's like, you can still be healed and be stuck in old patterns or comparing yourself. It's a human thing. And I'm not going to get really into comparing, because I did a couple weeks ago in an episode. I really got into comparison and it was great. But on like why it's not great. The conversation was great on a not so great topic, if you know what I mean. But once you kind of realize, okay, my self-esteem maybe is based a lot off of what other people think about me, and it's also based a lot off of superficial things or dogging other girls, or you know what I mean. When you are recognizing that it's kind of getting to that point, I want you to sit for a second and think, what do I like about me? Canceling out all the noise of what other people think about you or what other people have told you about you. Don't think about things that people have complimented you on as things that you like about yourself, which those can be things you like about yourself. But if I'm thinking, oh, well, people have complimented me a lot on my hair, so I like my hair. People have complimented me a lot on my eyes, so I like my eyes. No, think of the things that you genuinely love about yourself, even if nobody's commented on it. I think in our day and age of social media, and I'm guilty of this too, it can feel like a jab at your ego if your post doesn't get as many likes or your TikTok doesn't get as many comments. And you think, I must look ugly, I must look fugly in that if people are acting that way towards me. It doesn't really matter. The biggest awakening that I've had recently is verbalizing maybe the insecurities that I have or the lacks that I have. If I'm unhappy with my body, I'm verbalizing that I'm unhappy with my body, even if it's just to myself. Or I'm looking in the mirror and I'm upset about my acne or my stretch marks or how my hair looks that day. And having those thoughts go through your mind, even worse, speaking them out loud, we know already that our thoughts create a reality. And if you are just constantly talking bad about yourself, even if it's only to you, that's the energy you're putting out into the world. That's the energy that you are reaffirming in your subconscious mind. And overall, that's how you're going to show up with other people. if you don't have respect for yourself, that's also a lot of the time when you'll stay in places where you really shouldn't. And I know we've all stayed in friendships or relationships where we know we were being treated wrong, and it took until you realize that you're worthy of more. And sometimes we get stuck, and I know that can happen as a result of being in a toxic relationship, and it's not your fault that it happened. But let's talk about solutions now to get out of this mindset and really how to start healing your self-esteem and just how you view yourself. Journaling and shadow work, I know you guys hear me talking about this all the time, but it will change your life, and it really was the first steps for me. I will link some in the description of the episode wherever you are listening to it or wherever you're watching it, but I really encourage you to go and look at some of those prompts because it really opens your mind and makes you start thinking, okay, you guys? And overall, an image that I just want to leave you guys with, or I guess a thought that I want to leave you guys with, is your younger self, whatever they were going through, whatever they were thinking about themselves, they would be so proud of you now. Like the things that you say to you now, would you go and say that to them? You would not go and say that to them. And that's you. Like you carry every version of yourself with you as you get older. And so younger you is still in there. And I have realized, and I have seen through guests that I've had on as well, who have also told me that embracing the things that they liked as a child really helped them ground themselves. It really helped them come back to who they are, because it's easy to kind of lose that and base our personality and our likes off of what's popular. And sometimes we do have interests that are just popular interests, but it's like, do you have things that you like to do when you were a kid and you stopped doing because you thought it was lame? Like maybe you like to sing, or maybe you like to do art, or maybe you like to do a certain sport, or maybe you like to go for walks, or maybe you like to swing. I don't know, girl. But go back to it and try it a little bit, because you're going to feel more like yourself. I also would maybe challenge you to, let's say, this is a pretty specific one, but I'm going to give a few different examples. If you struggle with going without makeup, I challenge you to try just one day going without makeup, facing the fear. Because when you have a fear, something like that, okay, what's the worst case scenario? People don't think you're attractive? The whole goal of this exercise is to heal even caring about what other people think about you. And facing your fears like that head on and going out in public that way, it makes you realize like no one really cares. And I'm being me, like I'm doing this for me. And just that act of selflessness for yourself, facing that fear, being vulnerable, it may not be your favorite thing ever. It may not be your favorite thing ever, but even just doing it for one day shows to you that you're dedicated to pushing past these limiting beliefs that you have built in your mind around your self-esteem. The next one is affirmations in the mirror, every morning, every night. Yes, you might feel kind of weird repeating these things back to yourself, but I love it. I love it, and I felt really dumb at first being like, I love myself. I think I am beautiful. People are lucky to have me in their life. I'm an amazing person. I'm an amazing friend. I work hard at everything I do. It feels egotistical in a way, or if you don't view yourself very highly, it feels really awkward to be saying those kind of things to yourself. And I think there's a way to sometimes get too high of a self-esteem and be thinking you're better than other people. True self-esteem is when you only care about how you feel. No one else's opinions matter. No one else matters. Everyone else is healing in their own way and doing amazing on their own. Like, there's only one of you, and there's only one of them. And when you're authentic, no one can replicate that. No one can replicate that. And that's amazing that we all can be so different and so unique to the point that there's no comparison really when we're being all so authentic. And just finding pride in that there is not another you. You're 101 when you're being yourself and you're embracing who you are. So affirmations like I'm worthy. If you're struggling a lot with other people's perceptions of you, I am worthy as I am. I belong to take up space. I don't care what other people think about me. The thoughts that you want to be thinking are the ones that you're repeating back to yourself in the mirror. And seeing those and saying it to yourself is such a powerful feeling. And you will feel silly at first. You will feel a little silly, but it will help. I really recognize how difficult the self-esteem journey is. And I applaud you for listening to this episode. I applaud you for making a step towards choosing yourself. Listening to this episode, you are choosing yourself. Do that in more situations. Do something for you. And each day, if you're doing something for you, you're going to build trust with yourself and you will start to love yourself. I do feel self-care is such an act of showing yourself love and taking care of yourself, really, like somebody you love. That is self-love. Treating yourself like somebody you love, somebody you care about, the most important people to you. That is true self-love. And once you're able to reach that, I always say this, your reality will change. Your reality will change, and I can tell you why. Because once you change your self-perception, people will show up differently for you because the thoughts in your brain are creating a reality, right? Neuroplasticity. Let's hear it for neuroplasticity. You're creating the reality that you see based off of the thoughts that you're thinking. If you're showing up with this frequency, we're all on frequencies, right? Self-love and security is such a high vibration. People feel that. If you've ever had someone walk in a room and you're like, damn, they're confident. Like people turn their heads, you can't help it. They're glowing. You can't help it. They're secure in themselves. They know who they are in no comparison to other people. That energy is magnetic, I'm telling you. And I'm not saying, oh, you're going to turn heads everywhere you go now, but energy is the biggest form of interaction. You don't even have to speak to someone for them to feel your energy, but people will. People will be able to tell the difference of when you start choosing yourself, and you will be able to tell. Once you view yourself as more worthy for things that you want, these limiting beliefs that you've created in your mind will start breaking away. Suddenly you view yourself as worthy for a healthy relationship when before you didn't. You view yourself as worthy to have a lot of money when before you didn't. You view yourself as worthy to do something out of the norm when before you didn't. This is how, it's just the starting step of changing your entire life. You guys, once I started making the step towards loving myself, that shit shifted. I moved like multiple times. I went on so many experiences and I met so many people that I would not have met and I wouldn't have done if I did not choose myself. There's so many opportunities that are waiting for you to choose yourself. Also, would be the perfect time to do those affirmations in the mirror, as well as writing down, even just one time, affirmations of things that you want in the rest of this year. So if you want a new car, I have my brand new car. The whole point of manifestation is, it doesn't have to be writing a bunch of things out and doing all this crazy shit, honestly. It's believing that this will happen to you. That's all it really is. Yes, the repetition can make that happen, but also just trusting, like, God's got me. God is going to make this happen for me because I'm a child of God. And he don't play about me. And the more that I love myself, because I'm a daughter of God, I'm a creation of God, the more that I love myself and I view myself as worthy, the more that God will provide. I swear to you guys, the more that God will provide, the more that you view yourself as worthy of his blessings. And if you ask, some people say God, some people say the universe. Ask, universe, I want this new car. Thank you, universe, for giving me this new car. Thank you, God, for giving me this new car. When you don't have it yet, okay? God has blessed me with this new car. Thank you, God, for giving me this new car. I'm so thankful. and you know it's yours. You don't know when, but you know it's yours. Show up each day as the person that has that for the rest of this month. I know I have a new car. You don't know when, but you will. I promise you, you will. Or if you're trying to move, thank you, God, for this new house. Thank you, God, for being able to provide me with somewhere that I never would have thought that I could live. Thank you, God, for providing for me, and it'll show up. Or thank you, universe, for providing for me. It'll show up. You have to believe. I speak this into the existence, and it's going to happen for me because I know that I'm worthy of this. And I'm going to show up every day. I'm going to wake up every day as the version of me that has this car, as the version of me that has this house, as the version of me that has this relationship. I am that version already. I'm going to line up with that. I'm going to align with that energy. I love you guys. I love these little chit chats. I got to take a sip of water. I took a water break. I usually don't do that. Also, I hope the lighting was fine in this episode, you guys. I can't see it while I'm recording it, honestly. And it's kind of late. I usually have been recording them earlier in the day, but your girl has been busy. I hope you have an amazing Lionsgate portal. I hope you have an amazing weekend, an amazing August. August is known as the month of abundance. Embrace that energy. Embrace that Leo energy. Leo energy is known for confidence. Not being afraid to take up space. Being themselves. Being loud. Being proud. Embrace that energy. I don't care if you're not a Leo. I'm not a Leo. I'm an Aquarius. And I'll be in that Leo energy this month because I'm trying to be abundant. And you're going to be abundant as well. I love you guys. And I'm excited to see you all on your journey. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for making this step. You are already actively choosing yourself. You should be so proud of yourself for being so dedicated to this growth. We will have a guest joining us this next week who is going to get to the nitty-gritty of manifestation and what that really means. So, I will see you guys next week.